This is ABC15 Mornings.
Fighting the coronavirus.
With the state of the nation today, is no time to waste. Get to work immediately.
President Biden making the pandemic his first priority.
Work needs to be done in the laboratory to confirm whether or not the vaccine is going to be protective.
Doctors concerned over new variants of the virus.
We expect that in the summer there will definitely be a peak, an increase in demand for childcare because some of the camps aren't going to be open.
As parents get back to work, there are less options for childcare.
Obviously, times are different. There's an uneven recovery occurring.
As the economy works to bounce back, why community colleges could see higher enrollment numbers.
Booker in the paint. Great layup by Devin Booker.
The Suns and a two-game skid are back to their winning ways.
Tonight we have another life-changing jackpot for you.
Plus, this morning, someone's life is about to change forever. Yeah, the eyebrows go up. You see all of those numbers and you think, what? Someone is very happy on the East Coast winning that big thing. But we have some winners here in Arizona. We'll talk about where those tickets were sold here momentarily. First, we say good morning to you on this Thursday. Thank you for starting your day with us. Kaylee O'Kelly here in studio. Our Nick Saletti is social distancing from the newsroom.
Yeah, happy Thursday, everyone. Of course, a lot of headlines to get to, including that big lotto win. But we have to talk about that most accurate forecast. Meteorologist Iris Immercio in studio right now. She's tracking ABC15 Desert Doppler for us, Iris.
Absolutely. And we're seeing a little bit of green across the valley. So it's not widespread rain, but we are waking up to some showers that you may notice on your drive into work. You might need those windshield wipers a few times too. But again, nothing widespread, nothing too heavy. Just more of let's call it nuisance rain, although I think this is very welcome rainfall. But on your drive into work, again, it'll require those windshield wipers a few times. Spotty showers in the North Valley between Deer Valley and Anthem along I-17. We also have a little bit of light rain near Levine, moving right along the new Loop 202 up towards the I-10. Some showers west of Goodyear and another area of rain just south of Ahwatukee. That's going to impact your commute if you travel along the I-10. Maybe you're heading north inbound towards Tempe or into central Phoenix. Again, that rain moving up in that direction. We also are watching some showers to our south, and I'm going to keep a close eye on these as they could continue to work their way north towards the Phoenix area and possibly bring more rain our way in the next few hours. But you can see that our best chances for rain are between about now and mid-morning. After that, just a slight chance for showers this afternoon before we await our weekend storm system that's going to bring us even more rain. 60 degrees our temperature now. Highs will reach the upper 60s today. I'll show you how much cooler it's going to be by the weekend. For now, though, sending it over to our Chelsea Davis, who's also busy watching our morning drive. Hey, Chelsea.
All right, thanks so much, Iris. We appreciate it. So much to look forward to. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone at home. Let's look at our accident log group traffic maps now. Overall, things look good. The wide view showing lots of green out there. Now, there are some spots where we're seeing a little bit of red and yellow popping up, like I-10. If you're traveling eastbound approaching the stack, I-17 around the Durango curve. But those desert drive times are still below average, and you don't really need extra time. I-17, maybe 5 extra minutes just because of that higher volume of traffic once you approach downtown. But clear. No reported crashes on the west side, North Valley, or East Valley at this time. I'll keep watching the roadways and I'll let you know if anything changes out there.
All right, Chelsea, thank you. This does mark the first full day on the job as president for Joe Biden. He is promising to get right to work. Our Mark Thompson taking a closer look this morning at what will be his first priority, and that is the coronavirus pandemic. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you, Kaylee. That's what he campaigned on, and the president getting right to work, signing 15 executive orders in his first day. And today, again, he turns his attention now to the coronavirus, expected to sign 10 executive orders related to the pandemic.
The issue that he wakes up every day focused on is getting the pandemic under control. The issue he goes to bed every night focused on is getting the pandemic under control.
And new this morning, we are getting an outline of the president's plan. He wants to work to speed up manufacturing of the vaccine and improve testing. President Biden expects vaccines to be available at local pharmacies beginning next month. Federal government will create a public dashboard with national and state-by-state level information on it. A new COVID-19 health equity task force will focus on communities of color and underserved populations. Also, the FCC will be told to improve internet connections so students who are working remotely can have better connections. He's also signed an executive order imposing a mask mandate on federal property. He will sign another that masks must be worn in airports and on buses. He posted this on Twitter. He says, wearing masks isn't a partisan issue. It's a patriotic act that can save countless lives. It is time to mask up, America. And although the president can't force cities and states to follow mask mandates, he hopes that people will wear facial coverings when it is appropriate. And tomorrow, the president, he expected to push for more economic relief, another thing that so many millions of Americans have been waiting on. Reporting live this morning, Mark Thompson, ABC 15, Arizona. Back to you.
Mark, thank you. 6:05 now. Another change happening today. The U.S. will take steps to rejoin the World Health Organization. Dr. Anthony Fauci will represent the administration, and he says the U.S. will join a project to deploy vaccines around the world. Dr. Fauci was named Chief Science Advisor to Biden. He will be live on Good Morning America this morning to talk more about that project.
Here in Arizona, the number of COVID-19 hospitalizations and cases have been going down in recent days, but one health expert tells us the number of people getting tested has also dropped off, and that worries him.
The virus is rampant. There's a lot of people out there who have it. And, there is going to be variation. And just because it's gone down for a few days, I would not start to call victory yet.
Dr. LeBaire is the head of ASU's Biodesign Institute. He says that he's worried people don't want to get tested and find out they're positive because then they'd have to stay home for 2 weeks.
Amazon is offering up its distribution centers as a way to get more vaccines out to the community. The company is sending a letter to President Joe Biden saying it wants to help reach his goal of vaccinating 100 million Americans in his first 100 days. Amazon says it has an agreement with a third party to administer these vaccines at its facilities. But the company also wants its 800,000 employees moved up on the list of priorities. Biden has not made a decision on that offer.
It is good news at these difficult times. Hundreds of companies are looking at potentially setting up shop here in the Valley as thousands of Arizonans remain out of work because of this pandemic. John Genovese breaking down those numbers for us. And John, we hear announcements about big name companies moving in, but what does it actually mean for the rest of us?
Yeah, Nick, several big name technology and advanced manufacturing companies recently announcing that they would set up shop here in the Valley. Some of those companies coming from around the world and promising to bring with them higher paying and higher skilled jobs. Now, our economic leaders say the goal in all of these announcements is for these companies to hire locally, and now might be the perfect time to head back to the classroom.
Obviously, times are different. There's an uneven recovery occurring.
From last spring's shock, the jobs are coming back, but not all at once. Chris Camacho of the Greater Phoenix Economic Council says between March and November last year, the Valley lost around 215,000 positions. Some 75% of them have returned, but that means 45,000 are still in limbo.
You have your mom and pop locally owned businesses most affected by this kind of pandemic. Certainly the tourism and accommodations, hospitality sector also hit.
It's a stark contrast when we're hearing big name announcements from big companies like Zoom and Intel setting up or expanding in the Valley. TSMC, one of the world's biggest semiconductor companies, recently announcing a factory in the Valley set to bring 1,600 jobs. But what does that mean for people who are struggling today?
This COVID era and now this new digital economy is going to require our at-large worker base, at least a portion of it, to reskill to meet the needs of tomorrow's jobs base.
Camacho says GPEC and other local organizations are working with community colleges, districts like West MEC, and resource providers like Pipeline AZ to increase awareness and access to training programs, and in some cases, financial support when it comes to learning.
These are catalyst projects that not only drive direct job creation, but a massive indirect jobs base.
Camacho says over 250 companies are currently evaluating expansions into Greater Phoenix. The focus over the next year will be to lure in more advanced manufacturing opportunities, especially in the electronics and aerospace supply chains. Encourage high-growth technology companies from around the globe to choose Arizona and hopefully establish a primary or regional headquarters.
I am optimistic about the near-term future, and that I do believe once we pass the COVID pandemic caseload numbers spiking, there will be better days for us here in Arizona.
John Genovese, ABC 15, Arizona.
Next on ABC 15 Mornings, the country has new leadership, but the same problems of the pandemic and political division. We'll speak one-on-one to an Arizona congressman about how we move forward.
And this morning, we have a winner. After months of dreaming big together, what will we do with all that money? Well, someone is waking up more than $700 million richer.
Well, time now for your most accurate forecast. I'm meteorologist Iris Hermosillo. We're watching desert Doppler radar this morning because we've got some rain across the valley. It's not a lot. It's not widespread, but some showers that will at least require that you use those windshield wipers a few times on your way into work. So you can see a little bit of rain in the north and central valley, out to our west as well near Buckeye, and some showers in the southeast valley too. So as we zoom on in, again, it's very spotty light showers along the Loop 101 in the North Valley. We also have more rain up by Black Canyon City. So these showers, as they move through the valley, they eventually lifted to the north, and we saw them expand a little bit more across the Black Canyon City area. A few light showers in the West Valley too, between the Grand Avenue and the I-10 in Glendale and just south of Peoria. A few spotty showers moving through Avondale and Goodyear. More rain just west of Buckeye. Those showers are pushing towards the west-northwest, so Tonopah getting some of that rain. If you're traveling along the I-10, you'll certainly need those windshield wipers if you're leaving from the valley, maybe heading west towards California. And then in the Southeast Valley, there you see that other area of rain that I've been watching. It essentially moved its way from Maricopa, now approaching Ahwatukee and some of our Southeast Valley cities. So you can see some of that rain expanding into Chandler. If you're commuting along the Loop 101 in the East Valley or the I-10, even the US 60, you're going to get some of that rain as this batch moves to the north. So again, it's not very heavy. I'm not seeing any lightning in the mix, so no thunderstorms at this point, but some moderate rainfall at times that could require, again, those windshield wipers. Plus, we've got a little bit more action to our south out near Maricopa and Casa Grande. So I'm going to keep watching those, as they certainly could continue to work their way further to the north and move back into the immediate Phoenix metro. But Maricopa, you're going to continue to see some of these passing showers moving through. The rest of the state, including western and northern Arizona, pretty quiet right now. Those snow levels are actually rising, so we're not going to see a whole lot of snow today. But as this storm system, still storm system number 1, moves through southern Arizona, we'll keep that chance for rain around in the valley. Snow levels will rise to about 7,000 feet, so just mainly rain and snow scattered in northern Arizona. But then as we go into this afternoon, those rain chances will taper off because that first storm system is going to start to clear out to the east. So this afternoon and evening, partly cloudy skies, just a 10% chance for rain in the valley. Overnight, a slight chance of a few showers that could pop up, especially near our foothills. So we are going to keep the rain chances around through tomorrow. But again, those rain chances trending down after this morning, and then just a slight chance tomorrow before our weekend storm system moves in. And our weekend storm will bring a better chance for rain Saturday, Sunday into Monday, and even Tuesday, because we've got a storm system coming in Saturday and Sunday, then another one coming in Monday and Tuesday that will keep those rain chances in that 50 to 60% range, if not higher, here in the coming days. So we're going to keep you posted on that, but know that we could see rain through the weekend, which may affect those outdoor plans. So think of backup plans. Start making them now if you haven't done so already. Our temperatures around the valley right now in the 50s to 60s. Some of the cooler spots include Glendale. You're checking in at 55. It's 60 degrees at Phoenix Sky Harbor. I do think we'll dip down into the upper 50s by 7 a.m., then start to climb, and it'll be a pretty mild afternoon with a high in the upper 60s here in Phoenix. 59 right now in Bullhead City. It's 41 in Payson and 27 in Flagstaff. By this afternoon, highs reach the upper 40s in Show Low and in Heber. We'll make it to 61 in Kingman and 70 at Lake Havasu. But look at how temperatures will drop this weekend. That storm system coming through this weekend will drop those highs into the 50s starting Sunday, and it looks like we're going to stay in the 50s for most of next week.
Okay, Iris, thank you. I want to switch gears right now. Joe Biden officially sworn in as the 46th president of the United States. And now this new administration begins with Democrats holding the majority in both chambers of Congress. So joining us right now to talk about this and what's next, we have Arizona Congressman Ruben Gallego. Congressman, I want to thank you for being here with us this morning. You were at the inauguration yesterday. I just want to point that out to our viewers. Of course, these are always big moments in American history. Yesterday's, though, was even more historic with the pandemic and the increased security. So I just want to get your quick takeaways.
Well, thank you. It was a great event. I really just enjoyed it, to be honest. I was there with my fiance, and we really had this sense of relief. I think in the last 4 years have been hard for some of us, but essentially, especially this year with pandemic, and then with the insurrection that happened 2 weeks ago, it's been a long, couple months. And it felt great. It felt great. It was cold. for us Arizona people. It was really, really cold, but it was great to see a moment in history, transition in power, a tradition that's been going on for more than 200 years. And, I was proud to be there and represent Arizona.
Yeah, it's a simple thing, but it's a big thing at the same time, too. You were at the Capitol during that deadly insurrection attempt earlier this month. I want to ask you this. What do you think should happen to your fellow members of Congress if it's found out that any of them were involved in this?
Well, if any of them were involved in the kind of conspiracy level, organizing, encouraging them to come to the Capitol, encouraging them to interrupt the process, we should remove them from office, try them to the hardest extent of the law, and throw them in jail. You do not interfere with the safe, peaceful transfer of power. You do not try to overthrow your democracy, and you certainly don't threaten your colleagues. So I'm not casting aspersions on anybody yet because I want an investigation to happen. But should any of that come out, they should really be held to the highest level of judicial power possible.
Yeah, of course, we're so glad that you're okay, and obviously this could have been so much worse. I want to move on to some policy issues right now. Obviously, we mentioned how Democrats retain control in the House and now have that 50-50 split in the Senate, with Vice President Harris being the tie-breaking vote if it's needed. What are you hoping to see on President Joe Biden's agenda?
Well, number one, COVID relief. We're still going to deal with COVID both on the vaccination level, so we need to pump that up. Unfortunately, I think we're going to also be entering a dip in the economy unless we actually can rev up the economy, and I think we have to have some stimulus relief with that, and I think that includes more direct payments to families, more unemployment assistance, more rental assistance, things of that nature. We need to do that until we get out of this pandemic to make sure that we don't push ourselves into a recession. I then want to look at immigration reform. I think something that Arizona desperately wants and needs. And then also just in other areas that we have all been talking about for a while, transportation infrastructure. We have roads and bridges that are just starting to break down. I think we could also use transportation infrastructure to really invest in, good climate change legislation, such as renewable energies, things of that nature.
Okay, Congressman, would you support President Biden's $1.9 trillion stimulus package that he's talked about? Some of your Republican colleagues have expressed some concern about it and even saying they don't even know if it's needed. So what's your position on that?
Absolutely. Look, you don't want to undershoot when you're dealing with a pandemic and a potential recession. You'd rather overshoot, making sure the economy is going to be strong. The last thing we want is a sluggish economy. It affects working class families tremendously. We have a sluggish economy. That means they have lower savings. It takes them forever to actually get out of that. They end up being in debt for years. This is what happened after the 2008. So people are saying like it's too much. I'm not sure if it's needed. Look, this is the same people that gave a billionaires tax cuts a couple of years ago without even caring about the debt. They didn't really care about the debt as long as Donald Trump was asking for it. So now let's look at the real facts. Let's look at the numbers. In fact, is like we're about to enter a very sluggish recession. We don't want to do that. We need to rev up the economy, and let's make sure we do that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a balancing act of keeping people afloat, but also the price tag in the future. So I know you guys have a lot of.
No, that's irrelevant. Like when interest rates are this low, you can borrow money as much as possible. This whole idea that somehow we're going to go into debt is going to cause us problems. We're already in debt. The fact is, like the debt that we're borrowing is at 0.025%. It's worse for us to actually have a sluggish economy than it is for take out the debt. This actually would end up actually saving us money in the long run. So all these like false ideas that somehow we're taking out huge debt is just BS.
Sure. Well, but there is a price tag to this, though. We have to point out.
It's a price tag. It's a price tag that's paid over 10 years. And the stimulus that you would actually produce for the money for the 10 years would actually repay itself versus people going in debt over those same 10 years.
Okay. Representative Gallego, we're out of time. I want to thank you, as always, for being with us early this morning. I'm hoping that you and your family are staying safe, and we wish you a happy new year. And please come back and keep us posted because, like I said, I know you will be busy in Congress this term. So thank you again, Representative Gallego, Arizona 7th District. Thank you. Take care.
622 now, the cost, the convenience, and the quality of childcare, how more parents are looking for someone to come into the home to help watch the kids. Plus, helping those forced out of their homes and onto the streets, how one group in particular right here in the Valley is going above and beyond. Well, this is going to be a critical year for the childcare industry after the pandemic turned it upside down, right? As more people do get the COVID vaccination and go back to work, childcare is expected to be in much higher demand.
We expect that in the summer, there will definitely be a peak, an increase in demand for childcare because some of the camps aren't going to be open. Some of what families have utilized for childcare during those off-school times may not yet be up and running or may be constricted in size. So we expect a higher demand for in-home childcare.
College Nannies, Sitters, and Tutors is one company that does help connect families with fully vetted in-home care providers. Another company here locally is Busy Bees.
Well, we have a winner. Lotto officials announcing overnight a winning ticket for the Powerball jackpot was sold in Maryland. It's worth more than $730 million. No one's claimed the prize yet, but they'll have the choice between taking payments over 29 years or a payout of around $546 million. Oh, my gosh. Well, there are some big winners here in the Valley as well. Arizona Lotto officials say 4 Mega Millions tickets worth $10,000 were sold here in the Valley. Here's a look at those numbers from Tuesday. Again, this is the actually on the screen right now we have our Powerball numbers, so just so you know. And Friday's jackpot for Mega Millions is up to $970 million. Next at 6:30, frustration over registration, an in-depth look at why some are struggling to get their COVID vaccines.
And President Joe Biden getting right to work in his first day in office, but a lot of what he's doing is actually undoing. I'll explain those all-important executive orders coming up.